Howdy, I'm Bill Garner, and I'm here to tell you how to write a book. Now, in my first video, I literally tell you how to write a book. This one, I'm going to tell you really how to finish the book, because anybody can write a book. It, you know, Anybody can write. And I think I tell you this in the first video that the real work is in the rewrites. And I talk about my first book, which is Me Boo and the Goob, how it took years to write that book, but that's because I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm going to try to help you with some of that in this video. Um, when I set out to write Me, Boo, and the Goob, I didn't know where I was going with the story. I was halfway writing a memoir, halfway not. Two of my favorite writers have always been Mark Twain and Hunter S. Thompson, and so I wanted to kind of do a Tom Sawyer type thing with a little bit of Hunter Thompson's over the top exaggeration and fabrication and stuff. Um, and so I set out writing, and I'd hit a point and I'd stall, and I wouldn't know what to do next, and I'd wait a while, and finally something would come to me, and I'd go and go. And so that's why it took years. It doesn't have to take years. What you need is somebody to work with you who can help you break your writer's blocks or help you overcome those challenges. In some cases, that person can be an editor. In other cases, that person can be an agent. A person might just be a friend. So enlist the help that you need to finish your project in a reasonable amount of time without going insane. Okay, because I about went nuts at times writing this book, Me, Boo, and the Goob, and it's a simple book. It's about kids growing up in the early 1960s and just not understanding the adult world. And I can honestly remember a friend of mine explaining to me that the communist guerrillas over in Southeast Asia were bad guys, and they were in the guy in charge. His name was Ho Chi Minh, and yeah, and in my mind, I'm 6 or 7 years old. In my mind, I'm thinking, why in the world would this man give monkeys machine guns? Because we were fighting the communist guerrillas. Well, I know. I've been to Monkey Island at the Memphis Zoo. I know what the hell a gorilla is. Somebody gave them guns and showed them how to. That's so much of the book is that sort of stuff to take you back into the early to mid 1960s and the stuff that kids just didn't understand. I can remember being so confused about stuff and being horrified of ghosts. To me, especially in the South, I mean, we got a lot of haints in the South, and you want some haunted places, let me know. I'll take you to some haunted places. I was mortified of ghosts, and because they will snatch your soul straight out, and then it's lights out. It's over. So, oh gosh, I forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, write the stuff that you know in the language that you speak, and tell your story the way that you would tell it to somebody else. Stay at it. Write something every day. Even if you throw it out, and when you throw it out, don't really throw it out. Just put it in a different directory on your computer, because you may want to reference that at some point in the future. But hang in there and tell that story. When you get stuck, go to your support person, whether it's an editor, an agent, or just a friend, and talk to them about it. Let them read it up to that point. Ask questions. I was stuck for about 3 years. 3 years with about 2/3 of a book written, and I didn't know where to go with it. I just didn't know where to go. And I had a friend on the internet. I never met this guy face to face, but we used to talk about a variety of subjects and chats on the internet. And one day, I mentioned that I had writer's block and I was stuck. I had an unfinished novel. He said, "All right, asshole, send it to me." So I sent it to him, and he read it, and he wrote me back. He said, "Dude, how's this thing end?" And it just came to me out of the clear blue skies, like getting struck by lightning. I knew how it was going to end. And, then I spent 3, 4, 5, 6 months writing the last part because I do a lot of rewrites. I'd get my story down and let it sit for a day or two, and I go back through and I polish the language and polish the language, and I get the voice working. And so finally I had a story, and at that point it occurred to me, gee, I'd look for an editor. And I found one, and she was going to be great. She was wonderful to work with. She had read a lot of my stuff on my blog, and she died. And then I spent a lot of time trying to find an editor. I couldn't get any traction at all because, this is my first book. I'm an unknown writer. I've got no track record. Nobody wants to talk to me. And so I went to my plan B, and that was beta readers. I had the book read by a bunch of friends, and said, let me know of misspellings, grammatical stuff, where stuff doesn't make sense, where it doesn't flow right. Let me know, because then I'll fix it, because I can't see it. And I got a lot of great feedback from some really good friends. And it's really hard to get your friends to tell you when something sucks. They'll all tell you when something's great. And a lot of folks will tell you something's great when they know it sucks. But it's the real friends who will say, it really breaks down right here. Or this just doesn't make sense at all. I had 4 people out of probably 20 beta readers point out that the first chapter didn't work. The first chapter didn't work at all. It had a different voice. It just seemed out of place with the rest of the book. And at first I thought those 4 were just outliers, that that doesn't make any sense. And so I looked at it a little closer, and I read it, and I read it, and I thought about it, and then it hit me. Yeah, this is different. This is out of place. And so I rewrote the first chapter, and now it's one of the most popular chapters of the whole book. And so use the resources you can. If you can't get an editor, fake it. Get your friends to read it. Find some friends that will tell you the truth, and work on it. And don't give up. Work on it every day. Clean it up. Tighten it up. Fix the language, and then you'll have your book. Okay. So in the next video, we'll talk about getting that son of a bitch published. All right. So till then, y'all have a wonderful day, and don't quit writing.